Hey all, it's Sloane. Um, so there's this artist called Ren. He's making all the rounds on the internet right now. YouTube sensation. Really, really blew my mind. I'm a music junkie. I'll be the first one to tell you. I am addicted to music. New music is the best. And I'm really picky about my music too, so I'll listen to music and I will outright sit there and be like, no, this is bullshit, I hate it. And I'm like that about most music. But when I saw Ren's videos, because I've gone through quite a few of them now, I saw a reaction to Hi Ren, which is probably one of his most involved pieces. And it's lovely. I mean, it's harsh and it's real and it's raw and it's about mental health and about his physical health and it's about good versus evil and it's just this whole um, performance piece. It's performance art. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And he spans like 8 or 9 different genres of music in the music that he plays during this piece, and it's amazing, and his voice is amazing, his vocal range is phenomenal, and his lyricism is astounding, and I don't say this sort of shit about any musician normally. Well, maybe Miles Kennedy, whose vocal styling is just fucking amazing. But that being said, I'm usually a really harsh critic, because when it comes to the music that I like to have on my rotation, it has to be inspiring, it has to be good, it has to be filled with all this magic. The magic that I like to talk about, it's not really magic so much as it's pure fucking talent. You know what I mean? Like, it's like finding Eddie Van Halen in 1970. You know what I mean? You find Eddie Van Halen in 1970, you're sitting there going, oh my god, this is amazing. And you want to bring it to the world. And you want to show everybody, oh my god, this Eddie Van Halen character is the shit, you know? Ren is not Eddie Van Halen. Ren is a whole character unto himself. He is a modern day fucking minstrel. Let me tell you, oh my god. There is this, once I saw Hi Ren, I went looking through, because I do this thing. I will pick apart an artist's entire career until I can find where they're flawed. Because I have this theory that the gods cannot be that cruel. They cannot give a person all these wonderful attributes and not give them a flaw. So I go through his music, and I found a couple of his different projects as well. I'm talking about his busking. I'm talking about the band that he's in. Oh, I forgot the name of the band already. I was listening to it earlier today too. The Big Push. And I saw his work with Chinchilla, and I saw his work with BB. I want to say BB. I only heard that song once. But, and Sam Tompkins. Oh my god, Sam Tompkins has an amazing voice. And the lyrics and the things that he that Ren is writing about, it's astounding to me. So little by little, as I was going through each of his projects, I'm going, okay, well, I'm listening to this one because I'm going to listen to the lyrics and I want to see if he's going to flub up and just kind of fuck off with some pop bullshit and just, you know, give the bare minimum. And he doesn't. He goes in depth with everything. Everything is highly nuanced with him. Everything is so detailed. Every detail is worked out in such a wild way. And it's shown brilliantly in the trilogy, the Jenny and Screech trilogy, the story of Violet. Just amazingly done. I would highly recommend you watch the trilogy. It's beautiful. It's beautifully done. And his performances, the way that they are done, there's no auto tuning. His voice is brilliant. There's no auto tuning. There's normally the filming that he does, the way that he does his filming is in one take, and I think that's absolutely brilliant because it leaves no real margin for error. But he's not a perfectionist when it comes to like every note, every sound in the way that Miles Kennedy would be, because with him it's very much about the sound. Ren, while yes, sound matters, it's not so much about the sound so much as it is about the overall performance of the piece. And I've got to say, everything so far that I've seen, the kid is just fucking amazing. And I understand his story. His story is traumatic and tragic and endearing for sure. But and you kind of can understand how him having been diagnosed for as long as he was and being as sick with Lyme disease as he was, and having suffered the psychosis because of being sick for as long as he was, I completely understand how that could force him to hyper focus, because stuck in a room 23 hours a day, you know, you can hyper focus on your music. I get that because I have been ill and I have been stuck in my home for months at a time. So being able to hyper focus on my book or on one project or another, I totally get that. I understand that because I can do that. I have been there and done that. Not nearly as well or as accomplished as Ren, clearly, because this kid is astonishing. But and what I find truly okay, what I find most disturbing about Ren is that he speaks to the inner core of emotion and mental health. He speaks from his own pain, but he speaks to the pain itself, and he speaks with the pain and from the pain. And that's something extremely difficult to do. I've seen Jack White do it now and again, but Ren does it every time, and that's astounding. There's no other way to say it. It's astounding. I'm absolutely stunned by this artist right now. And there's a lot of ska influence and reggae influence in his music, but there's definitely a lot of rap, but it's the only rap so far that I have been able to listen to without going into full panic mode, because it does give me panic attacks and anxiety. Like, for other reasons, rap and hip hop specifically give me anxiety. That's post-traumatic stress. That's something, it's my own deal. It has nothing to do with Ren or music or anything like that. It's my own history. If you've read my book, you understand. But with his rap specifically, it's not the violent, hostile hip-hop rap, you know, that we hear out in the streets. Most of the time it's not that. Although I have heard one or two of his songs that kind of borders into that area, and even still, it doesn't give me the anxiety that the other stuff that I hear does. And so that's a major accomplishment for me, because honestly speaking, that's something that I've had panic attacks and anxiety attacks just from listening to, like, being at a friend's party and listening to the hip hop in the background. It gives me surmountable anxiety. It keeps building. I actually overdosed on Klonopin one night by accident, not realizing that I was taking one every 10 minutes. I didn't notice. I was a little drunk. I was taking one every 10 minutes or so because the music was giving me seriously bad anxiety, and I couldn't leave because I was there for a separate purpose, and I was there with somebody who needed me to be there as moral support. And so in trying to be there for them, I accidentally overdosed myself. I've stopped taking Klonopin since. I do not drink and take anti-anxiety medications anymore. It's a really bad idea. It's a shitty idea. It's a horrible idea. Don't do it. I do not recommend it. Um, I did it. It was a terrible mistake. Um, my point with that is that despite the fact that he sings in that kind of way, he doesn't give me anxiety in that kind of way. And that's astonishing and frightening and disturbing in its own little way. So far in my deep dive over the last 4 or 5 days, and by the time this airs, it'll be 2 weeks. It's so far everything I've seen about him and found about him is amazing, and I can't get past it. It kind of, it's mesmerizing to me right now. And I know that I do this with every artist. I'll go deep dive for about a month or so until I make myself sick of their music. But so far, and I know it's only been 5 days, but so far I haven't made myself sick of his music. And so far I've only become more enthralled by his music. And if Ryan ever watches this, fuck you, dude. Let me tell you something. Nobody has ever, that's not true, one person has made me emote with music before you. But you have spoken to the very core of my fucking soul with your words, dude. And that is upsetting because nobody speaks to my core like that. You have ripped words out of my very fucking emotions and put them to song. And that speaks volumes for your very talent. It really does. And I am in awe of you. I really am. And I am completely inspired by you right now. And people don't evoke my emotions very often, and I hate you for that. I want to hate you for that, but right now I'm very, very much enjoying your music, and so take that as you will for what it's worth, you know? That aside, thank you, I guess, because I needed that. I needed your music in my life, and as much as you suck for picking it away at everyone else's brains and speaking to the inner meaning of their emotions, it, by the way, very, very intrusive of you, but also how very insightful of you and brilliant. And you suck. Because you're so amazing, you suck. That being said, to everyone else, I will talk to you and see you guys again soon.